Hi everyone, happy Wind Down Wednesday. I am my sister Sari, CEO and founder of Sistah Scifi. I'm working hard to make Wednesday your new favorite day of the week. Super. Today, we'll have Leah Vernon on. Hey, discussing The Union, a dystopian YA novel. So yeah, hold on. So I'm sending the request via to you now. Okay. So Leah, you should have the request in Instagram. So while we wait for Leah to join, let me know how your week has been thus far. We're approaching some of the last weeks of 2022, which is kind of crazy. So yeah. So let me know in the chat. I can see it. My this Wednesday I actually went indoor rock climbing. I know I talk about that sometimes on Wednesday, and sometimes I talk about like I was trying to go, but today I made it. Kind of crazy. It was tough. So yeah. So let me know in the chat. I can. Okay. And yeah. So yeah. Leah, what? I'm accepting their request again. Oh, and Leah, you have to be on your mobile phone. So if you're trying to join from your, okay, great. Yay.
Are we okay? Sorry, 1 second is being weird. Okay.
Yeah, I saw the email from Ellie, and they're like, "I'm trying to join," and sometimes I can be like the 4:45 is like prep setup, like me literally putting on lipstick and all that good stuff, and there we go, we're at 5. So you look amazing as always.
Thank you. I just came from the spa. So
Ooh, you like my Wednesday has been fresh to death. I love it.
fresh. We're melanated. We are thriving. Okay. We are calm.
Melanated, hydrated, you know, gravitated, all the things. I'm here for all the things.
Yes.
So what you drinking?
Uh, some type of sweet wine. I'm not sure like what it is in the cup, but it's delicious.
Yes, I am totally here for that. So yeah. So let me see. Penelope says hi. Hi, Penelope. Timothy says week so far has been good. I saw Wakanda Forever in IMAX, and I got an IG interview booked at the end of December. Oh, go Tim! Yay! Cool. So, I finished reading The Union today because sometimes I procrastinate. But let's start with the basics before we get into the book. Leah, please introduce yourself.
Okay. So my name is Leah V. It just sounds cooler when I say it that way.
Okay.
I am a plus size model, hijabi extraordinaire, a body positive activist. I am an influencer. I'm educated. Your girl got 2 masters, not 1, but 2. Periods. Double it up. And I'm an author. So I have a memoir that I wrote in 2019 about my life and how I came to be. Kind of diamond in the rough story. And yeah,
What, like, what's the name of the view? Like, I got a memoir, like, but tell us the name of the memoir.
Oh, yeah. So the name of my memoir is Unashamed Musings of a Fat Black Muslim. That's also really great. And yeah, so now my book, The Union, my first like dystopian sci-fi raw, gritty, sexy novel came out December 1st. So I'm so excited to talk about it because like my love is Afrofuturism and dystopian and just shaking people up a little bit,
And this is, let me know if I'm getting this wrong, but this is a reprint. You initially published it self-published, is that correct?
So long story short, because there's some drama around it. I was trying to get The Union published so many times and nobody wanted it. And I have re-edited like the beginning, like I think about 14 times. So she's been through a lot. She's been through a lot, you know what I'm saying? And so I was going through a divorce at the time and it was nasty. It was messy. And I was like, you know what? I want to do this for myself. So I'm going to publish it myself. I don't care if no one buys it. But I needed something to hang on to and to distract me from this messy divorce I was going through. So yes, I self-pubbed and I sold, I think, on my own, like 80 copies. So
like let's pause you. You sold a solid 80 copies. And 80 easy out here in these streets. I sell books, right? So like kudos for the 80. Thank you for everybody who brought like the first print, the first run, that 80, and have been like sticking with Leah from the beginning. Okay, I just want to continue.
Yes. So yeah, I mean that's who I am. I'm from Detroit, currently residing in New York.
Wait, where are you now?
New York City.
Okay. That's different. Where are you in New York?
Queens.
Oh, Queens. I see that. So people are not in Brooklyn anymore.
I think it's mostly like white people, probably.
Oh, that's good to know because I talk to people like, where you at? And they're like, not Brooklyn. And I was like, wait, what? So I guess it's not Brooklyn anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you get asked this a lot why you wrote the book, but in the author notes, you answer that. And on my the book that I'm holding now, it's on like page 326. I would love it if you could read like the first paragraph on page 326. I don't know if the numbers are the same, but it starts with, I wrote this story.
Okay. Oh, you must have a different.
Yeah. So it's the last page of the author note before the acknowledgement section.
1 second. Let me see. Starting out with the I wrote this book.
Yes.
Okay, 1 second. So I don't see that one. So I'm just gonna read.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, I wrote this book. I wrote this story.
Let me see. Wow, no, why I cannot see that? I never thought. Give thanks.
Or maybe it changed.
That's so weird. It should definitely not be. I'm so confused because like where?
Or you can read whatever you want, but
That's
it
crazy.
doesn't have to be.
So I do. This is so sad. Sorry, everybody. This is very embarrassing. Page 252.
326.
Oh, I see it. Thank you. My assistant just texted.
She's like, let me help you, sis. Thanks for, yes, we appreciate the assistance. And I just want to say, hey, Elliot, for like coordinating this and making the available. I appreciate you and the support for small Black-owned bookstores.
Yes. Also, shout out to my assistant who just texted me what page is on, because I was like, where is she talking about? Okay, so I see it now. It's author's note. I'm sorry. I was like,
yes, oh, sorry. Yes, authors. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anywho, thank you, assistant May Release. Shout outs to you. Okay. I wrote this story because the characters spoke to me, as they always do. I wrote it because I was so into seeing Black people, people of color in the future. What would it look like, feel like in our current world? What would it feel like as a Black girl to be on top, to have every privilege that the privileged had? I would dive into dystopian novels, and too many times, one thing was always missing: us and their stories. We hadn't really existed. And if we had, we were always one-dimensional. If there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it. Toni Morrison's quote has stuck with me for a long, long time. So that's what I did. I wrote it.
You wrote it. You wrote the Union. So yeah. Before I dive into my next set of questions, I want to bring the chats. Thou art newly, I think, says, yay! I saw the Steve Harvey birthday pics. So cute.
Yeah.
T. Hart says, I love you, Miss V. So cute. And Curvy Street says, I love seeing your beautiful face live. I know they are talking about your beautiful face because I'm live all the time. And your face is beautiful. So I think it's fascinating the hierarchy of the union of civilization, right? In this world where like not just Black people, but dark-skinned Black people are the most privileged. How did you come to that decision?
So it's like so many different like connections and stuff, because I've been working on this book for like almost a decade, right? And so, you know, initially, you know, I wanted something where it's just like, well, I'll start with this. So my sister is like dark skinned, she's like your color. And I've noticed when I was younger, it would always be this weird distinction between her and I, right? This distinction. And we're 7 years apart, and I'm a younger sister. So I would always like very upset when someone mentioned her color or in a demeaning way, but I wouldn't get that. So starting at a very young age, I started to see the differences of how I was treated versus she was treated, or comments that she would get on skin color and then I would not. So already off rip, I'm like, that's my sister. Don't mess with her. Don't talk about her. Period. And so I'll get very
double period. Yes.
My sister's in here, so she knows. But yeah, so I was just very much like, don't talk about her skin color. And so as I grew up, I started to see more and more colorism in the community, not just like the outside community, but like internally. And I didn't like it. I was seeing beautiful dark-skinned Black women getting passed over for, you know, the conventionally societal Eurocentric looking people continuously. And so now in my field, I keep seeing it. And so I'm like, you know what would it look like if we switched this around and we really like dug deeper into like, what does privilege look like? What does color privilege look like? Class privilege? And we just turn it on its head. And so I think that ideology, from seeing my sister go through some skin stuff and seeing my other dark skinned friends tell me their narrative and seeing stuff with my own eyes, I think that kind of like enraged me. So I kind of take my rage and I kind of put it into story form. And so, yeah, I think that's how it all started.
Yeah, I'm here for that. And like, I think a lot of times there are conversations about racism and less conversations, particularly nuanced conversations about the impact of colorism. So I'm glad you put it in. Adding Bree, more of the comments, the Zoo Palace says, come to Oakland. We in the town. You got an invitation. People want to see your face. 352, is that the zip code in Detroit?
313.
Okay, so somebody said 352. I don't know where that is.
Right.
So I was like, I don't know where. Candy says, I have my book. Yay! Please, if you like to take, if you're a bookstagrammer and you post a picture of it, please tag Sistah Scifi and Leah, because I love to see the pictures. Some of those pictures are pretty amazing. Bay Area, how, it's either house meets or something else. I have my book and hope to meet you to get my autograph. Sistah Scifi has signed copies, FYI. So I don't know. And Candy says sisters don't play. Facts. Like, I can call my sister some interesting stuff, but that's my privilege as an older sister. Don't get it twisted. Okay.
That part.
So those are the comments. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. So your first book was a memoir, right?
I actually wrote this for that book.
Oh, okay. Your first
Published book, yeah.
published book by a major author of things. So you think that you're like a big advocate of Afrofuturism. Why the transition into speculative fiction?
So it's really interesting because well, let's take it back a little bit. So I've been writing stories for a very long time. Very cliche, I know. My first story was The Prince and the Princess. At 6 years old, I was obsessed with LeVar Burton and reading Rainbow. Was obsessed with it. I'm like, I need to meet this man. I need to write stories for the rest of my life and have him read. And I remember having this like very intense emotional connection to LeVar Burton and reading Rainbow, the show. And that's where my love from storytelling came from. I started getting older and would basically dive into R.L. Stein and C.S. Lewis, J.K. Rowling, you know, all these types of people, they have one thing in common. They're all alabaster. So, you know, they had alabaster characters. And I, you know, as someone who loves and wanted to absorb these heroines and heroes, I was like, the only way I can be a hero in real life is to be as white as possible. It was really that a lot of identity issues growing up and stuff like that. And so, you know, fast forward, I just wanted people to have the same feeling that I felt when I heard books being read and when I read books, but I wanted it to feel about them. I want them to feel that they could be represented too. So I think that's where like my love for like sci-fi and speculative fiction, dystopian came from. Also like really, I like fucked up stories. Like I love how dystopian is like, okay, we're 1,000 years in the future, but it's all fucked up.
Yeah. Yes.
So all of my sci-fi stories are like that. You're gonna be like, damn, can the characters catch a break? No, okay. Like I love that shit. Like I want to be depressed when I read a book. Like and so I wanted y'all to feel the same thing reading this book. And so that's where it came from. Speculative fiction. I've been writing that before the memoir. Actually, the memoir came out of some other stuff. Like that was never supposed to be done. I was supposed to always be a sci-fi writer, and life the memoir done first, and that's just how it rolled. But I've always wrote sci-fi.
That is so fascinating to me. I love it. Mostly because I love sci-fi. So I'm here for it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back to the author's note. So, and I'll read this paragraph if that's okay. So you're like, she, referring to the union, started out when I was in a bad place in my life. She was the only thing I was looking forward to when I had a dead-end job in Michigan where my eyes twitch involuntarily every clock in. I was broke, like selling my plasma for $35 broke in an MFA program. That's real. And that's so powerful that you shared it in the book. How did she become that anchor for you?
I mean, I just like I've always liked well, first of all, I wasn't always able to express myself. You know, I grew up like Muslim and stuff like that in a very interesting household. You know, no daddy. Mom she did what she could do, and I'm here. There's issues there as well, and so storytelling was my outlet when I didn't feel like I had a voice. And so, and it's still that way for me. And so I was able to be someone that I never thought I could be in real life. So honestly, I always tell people, if I didn't write stories, I'd be in jail right now. And when I tell you I'd be in jail, I'd be in prison, because that's how bad it was. I didn't care about nothing. I was like, this life is shit. I have talent, but no one cares about it. No one cares to listen to me. So I'm just going to do fucked up shit and hurt people the way they hurt me. And it's really that serious. If you read my memoir, you'll understand. You're like, oh, she's real. She's serious. Dead ass serious. I would have been in prison. And story saved my life. So I put, you know, when I didn't have a voice, my characters did. And I vicariously through them. And now I'm living a lot better, healthier life, but I still vicariously live through my characters, right? And so I always tell people each character in the book is a little piece of me. Like, you know, I feel like Saige is the character Saige is more like me out of all the characters, and maybe the administrator.
The administrator. The administrator is that chick.
She's actually me. Yeah. Literally, yeah. And so yeah, like I speak through my characters, and they are a piece of me, and that's how I express myself. And you know, I didn't have a voice; they had a voice for me, and that's it.
I'm here for it. So I am, I said this earlier, I am a bookseller. So there's a link. It says pre-order because I have to update it, but you can order The Union. It's signed via book plate by Leah V. We're in stock, so that means if you order tonight is Wednesday. We'll ship it out on Friday, and you can have it in your hands soon. Okay. So we know Saige and the administrator are most likely like you. Who's your favorite character in The Union?
Um,
And then with this gorgeous cover, I just want to.
yeah. It's yeah. So I would say I really like Saige. Because they're like me. I'm a narcissist. I'm a Leo, clearly. I like the administrator, and you're gonna see a little bit more of the administrator in book 2. I feel like you got to see a little bit of her and her, you know, do the work and don't fuck around or you will be executed. Like, so she gets another a more role in book 2. And I like the general too, because he's very no nonsense and
Yeah.
will fuck you up. But also it's like a little bit of like, I have a little bit of heart steel. So I do enjoy the general as well. I think those are my top 3 favorite characters. And also I'm gonna say Leo as well. I know we don't get to see a lot of Leo's perspective, but he also gets a more of a role in book 2 as well. So yeah.
Okay. Yes. Great, all great choices. So, and you named most of those. If you were to like be able to dreamcast, which is always hard because you gotta name actors, who would you have play Sage, Drake, Avi, and Leo in a live action adaptation?
Oh damn, I'm not prepared.
I know I should have I was writing the questions down. I was like, I should have sent these beforehand. My bad.
This is such a great question because like ever. So I will give you guys a little secret on Leo. He's actually, and I know he's like trash now, but he's actually a little bit based on the younger version of like Leonardo DiCaprio. Like
Oh.
I was obsessed with him when I was a teenager. Of course, he's like very trash now because he's
Right. Leonardo DiCaprio is trash. Now, Leo, I was like, I liked Leo, but we're talking about Leonardo DiCaprio. That makes sense. That tracks.
the long time ago Leo. Okay, before he started.
Yes, yeah.
So he's loosely based off of him because I was obsessed with him. Not anymore. And so yeah, so if I was to cast, because I feel like with these types of roles, let's say if I ever did get to somewhere, I would want some like actors that were kind of like not well known. Because a lot of times like they give roles to people who are like well known. It's just like what about like all the other like beautiful actresses that kind of want a chance to do like a really cool role and don't get that chance. But yeah, like I would try. I have to think about that because like Sage is like very like a different character. Of course, she's biracial. There's so many biracial actresses more so than like darker skin actresses. But I will say maybe for Avi, I would want what's that girl's name? She's off Blackish.
The youngest sister?
Yes, because she has
Yes.
like her kind of cutesy, kind of petite.
Yeah.
Uh,
Whenever I ask people like, who do you want to play the character? They're always like, the chick from Blackish. So yes, she's a very popular.
Marsai something.
Yeah.
So she would be perfect for Avi. Yeah, I don't want to throw like a random name out for like Sage, like Zendaya, because like she gets too many roles. So it's just like,
But that's fine because then it's like you're like Zendaya. So maybe not her, but somebody like
somebody
her. Yeah.
But like crazy because like Sage is like kind of thick at the bottom, so it would have to be like kind of thick, a thick girl who has.
There's a girl who played her younger sister in Euphoria. Who was in the Ava DuVernay book adaptation, A Wrinkle in Time. Stormy something.
Yeah, and she would have to get a little bit rough because Sage is a very rough character. I would need this character
okay.
rough as hell. Don't come with no cutesy shit because like that's not. He's like a dude, so I need you to like, you know, she rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, Leo's some white man, and then
Drake. Leonardo DiCaprio, who's more politically correct. So yes.
And Drake, I'm not sure. There's so many like beautiful trans women that could play the role. So
you know who would be amazing is the one who plays the girlfriend in the L Word Generation Q, who is also in Sense8.
I would have to like look them up because like I would definitely want to know how they look and they would fit. But
yeah, I think she would fit, and like I love her in like everything, right? And she gives like that whole like Sage, no nonsense. We gonna get this shit done. Yeah. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So, going back to the chat because I wasn't scrolling, the Zoo Palace says, "Can we expect more speculative fiction?" So this is book one of a series. So I'm gonna run with that's
Yes.
an affirmative.
Yeah, it's
Yay!
duology. So yeah, the next one is
Is
called
it,
it's called The Descent. That's book 2.
ooh, I'm here for it. Lady Mac B. LeVar Burton reads. Got me to some sexual. LeVar Burton reads is like fire. So we like, yes, we're gonna have LeVar Burton read some Leah V, and it's gonna be amazing. Um,
I would love that.
Timothy says you're not alone, Leah. I fucked up stories fascinate me too.
Love them.
Uh,
Obsessed.
so, so now I realize I'll read y'all's work and then have my therapist on dial, so I know that. Zoo Palace in terms of Curvy Street says, thank you for sharing. I had to set my pause. Also, while I was in college, it's terrible. Um, Mara also asked, what's your favorite character in the book? Okay, Kirby Streets. It says it's sold out. Yay! Thank you for buying the book. I will fix it in 2 seconds.
Yes.
So yeah, we're gonna make that work. Happiness looks amazing on you, my love. And that's to you. So it looks amazing. And then I'm going back to Zoo Palace's question. What are your thoughts on Afrofuturism versus African futurism? Do you think you'd stray into the world of African futurism similar to Nnedi Okorafor?
What's
And
the last part of that?
do you think you would stray into the world of African futurism similar to Nnedi Okorafor? Nnedi Okorafor is a multi-hyphenated, award-winning author, wrote Fenty, series, the Carter Witch series, Who Fears Death. Fenty is being adapted for Hulu, and is very like clear that she writes African futurism, which
Uh,
is and not Afrofuturism.
okay, I understand. So I've not really, so I have read some books like, because like that's actually a really good question because honestly, I never really thought of them as different things. But I have, now that I'm thinking about it, I've read dystopian novels that were set in like Africa and in the future, right? Versus like mine that is set in the United States and it is more African American based. So that definitely makes sense. I never separated the two, honestly. But you know, everyone likes to have their own niche, and I respect it. But to play devil's advocate, are we kind of doing that separatism thing again? Like I'm not saying yes or no. I'm just for conversation's sake. Are we doing that again? Because at the end of the day, we Black, and we do share threads. So I never even thought about it. I thought it was the same thing. I was like, but it's just, oh, this is in Africa. Oh, this is just in America. But we both still Black. So, but mine, if just to answer the question, mine is definitely set in the United States. It is definitely African Americans who are the elites. So yes.
Yeah. Very insightful answer, and I will plead the fifth. I appreciate your response.
Yeah. Look, I'm just.
Uh,
Do we need any more separation? That's just y'all can say yes or no. That's on y'all.
yeah.
That's on,
So we can ask some questions. I will plead the fifth. It's so layered and multifaceted, and I'll if you want, I'll send you an email afterwards. Okay, so Myra asks, when can we expect a book two that descent? Right? Is that okay?
yeah, so it's allegedly supposed to come out
Silly.
end of November of next year.
Okay, so a year from now.
She coming out fast.
Okay. Like it takes 9 months to make a baby, so we're on that track.
Listen,
Oh
yeah.
and then I love the Instagrammers found us our actresses. So it's Marsai Martin and Stormy Reed. Thank you, Thou Art Newly and Timothy for dropping those names in the chat. And Yara Shadid,
Yeah.
that's the big sister in Blackish. We talk about the baby sister. Um, Storm, and they were like, agree with you, Storm isn't thick. I'm not. I don't live right. Okay. Um, and something was an excellent question. I agree with what you're saying, and I think that's the Afrofuturism versus African futurism.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. And we're not
Uh,
the
that,
verse. Oh, wait, was that a question or statement?
no, that was just me reading
Oh,
the comments. You like what's going on? Also, I'll make the announcement. So if you're like, I don't understand, it's out of stock. It's back in stock, so you can go press the link, order your copy of the Union. Okay, awesome. Yay. So besides, you may have already answered this question. So we know you're working on the Descent. Yay. We're excited. What
yes.
other projects are you working on right now?
Uh,
You stay busy. At least you
yeah.
look busy on social media.
Oh no, I am 100%. It's girl, it's like me try. So this little tea. I don't know if my agent's still in here, but so I wrote out. I finished the Descent first draft like in September, right? And I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be great. They're not gonna want a lot of edits. They was just like, no. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, what needs to be done? And they're like, all of this. I'm like, y'all asking for too much. Y'all asking for too much. I'm supposed to be done with this. And so yeah, so now we're in the second round of like a lot of edits. And it's been a lot. And so I am very currently stressed out over trying to finish the second edits, like very large edits. Like they pull out a whole situation. I was like, but I like the situation. They're like, nah, we don't like it. I'm like, wow. So now I have to take off the whole thing. So now that's a situation that I was really upset about, and now I'm like coming to terms with it. My agent's like, yeah, the reader will never know. I'm like, yeah, but I know. So like, and I'm hurt about it, and I don't want to do it. And so that's what I've been doing, honestly. And then of course, like trying to, you know, model and stuff like that. Doing test shoots, constantly getting content, constantly trying to stay relevant online. We are trying to create like a Black woman hub, you know, with me and a couple of my artist friends, because we feel like we're just too disjointed, and that we really want to just get together and really help each other and support each other and making this bag, you know, getting this bag, getting this coin. And so, because this year was very hard, there's a lot of high highs and low lows for me this year. It's been, I think, the hardest year ever. Just trying to get back on track, you know? And so that's the plan. Like, I'm always busy, always booked, you know, and I'm trying to make time to be present and cultivate, pour into other cups, and still also keep my cup full. And it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult. So I don't know what's going to be next for me. Finish my book. I mean, I'd like to get it adapted to a movie or a series. That would be cool. And if not, I'm going to write my own scripts about my life and try to sell it. So either way, something's going to be on TV about me. I don't know what it is.
One way or another, it'll be streaming on Prime Video, so we can like, maybe your agent is still here, maybe Elle's still here, and making that happen. I'm here for all that, and I'm here for the book busy and blessed and Black. So yeah, I want to be a part of this hub with powerful Black women, just because I like to be around powerful Black women.
100% same. It feeds me so much, so much.
Oh, I keep forgetting this girl. Kayla says, "You got this, girl." And Candy says, "I'm so proud of you, Leah V." And yes, and Zoo Palace is here for the series.
Yeah.
Here for the series.
Yes.
What you reading?
I'm actually reading something by Marlon James. Is it Red Wolf, Black Leopard, Red?
Wolf. How deep are you into that?
Actually graduated from the same master's program I did, so I know his mentor. I've gotten to meet him. He's so brilliant. Like I randomly went to see him talk, I think maybe before COVID or maybe 20, I don't know, but I was just like, I love this man, because he was just like so I was like, I could never. He's just so eloquent and just like amazing and complex and personable. I'm like, I want him. And I was like, you can't have this guy. But yeah, I am so in awe of him, and just like I'm reading his book and stuff like that, and just like his language and style of writing is very amazing. It's definitely something different than I usually read. But I was like, I want to read his book. Everyone's like raved about it over the years, so yeah, that's what I'm reading currently.
Okay, that has been on my TBR list for so long, and then there's a book too. There's a witch in the title, so I was here for it. I actually know it, but and two of my platonic partners are reading like Black Leopard, Red Wolf, and I'm like, oh, now I'm definitely gonna read it, but
Yeah.
I'm reading like 6 books with 3 other people, and I'm just a little bit overwhelmed. So let me know. All that to say, let me know what you think. I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, I had a question and it literally just slipped out of. Oh, so it sounds like you have a very non-traditional path, right? Like I know you've been writing, but also you're a social media influencer and you did the MFA program, which seems like a different like post MFA program path, and you have like another master's degree. What's your Northern Star?
Oh, like my main situation.
Or
Um,
yeah, main situation, but what more like on a bigger note, what gets you up in the morning? What keeps you motivated?
I mean, so I would say like because I've done so I'm like not trying to be this person, but I've done so many amazing like really like historical things as like the first fat Black Muslim to do many of things, and so that's been such a wild ride. And I've been flown out. I've been treated like royalty in Europe, and like had whole sets like tend to me. Like I've changed in subway bathrooms and like in alleys and shit. Like so I've had like this very, very much. So we're over here and we're over here. And I'm okay with whatever comes. Like I'm that kind of person. Um as much as Mariah Carey diva I am, I'm also really humble as well. And so now that I've experienced some things that are really grandiose, I actually like this like the little nuances of life actually like motivate me now. It's like, oh, I don't need to like to this celebrity party. I can just like, I don't know, like look at the clouds and like watch them like go by. And that's so inspiring to me. Where I can like listen to a story of someone else's and be,
Mm.
oh my God, like that is so cool how you said that or how you described that item. Uh it is just so lyrical and it's so amazing. And so I'm starting to find like joy in like the small things in life because it's just like so amazing. Because as a writer, you look at the details, right? As a writer, you have to look at the details. Like, if you're not, are you really a writer? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not able to like weave something out of something so small and tiny, are you really a writer? I can see something and just create this whole scenario, and I'm like, this is cool. I like this, like some goofy shit. And yeah, like I think those types of things really like push me. Also, just like my community, honestly, because when you look at me, it's hundreds of queer people, Black people, white ally, the alabasters, just like spicy whites behind me, right? And on the side of me and below and above, and just kind of pushing me and carrying me through. And people always look at me like, oh, you're so successful. And I'm just like, yeah, because my community. Because like there's times out of the game and like I'm tapped out. And they'd be like, all right, give me this arm, give me this arm, give me this leg, give me this leg, somebody get her back, somebody get her turban, push her up and push her forward. And they've honestly carried me. So that's why I do this. Because I would have been quit. 100%.
That is so beautiful.
What's the deal with this? Nobody. What's the deal with this? So yeah, I have a whole army, the Leah Beehive, and they are amazing. Amazing.
Billy Beehive. Timothy is saying Misha Green would be great if we're putting stuff out in the universe in terms of who to adapt. So going back to being queer, Black, and Muslim, I don't know if you use those exact adjectives, but that's
well, mine's fat, Black, and Muslim.
fat, Black. Oh no, not the book, but like more the intersectionality of your identity.
Yeah, fat, Black, and Muslim.
So my next question is, a lot of times, particularly in dystopian literature, this is not my question. A friend fed me this question. I was like, that's brilliant. I'm gonna use it tomorrow. In dystopian literature, there's the assumption that like society will evolve out of religiosity, right? Like there won't be any more Christianity or Islam. Like, how did you navigate that while writing the Union and thinking about the sequel as someone who identifies as Muslim?
Oh, that's a good question. Look at you, making me think.
Right. And, credit that to my dear friend and partner.
Oh,
Because
that's
I was like, oh my God, that's a brilliant. Let me write that down.
I like that person. So yeah. So the reason why I didn't include Islam in the book is because I think people think that's what I would do. And I love doing things that people think I'm not going to do. I'm that person. Like, oh, you think you think you know me? Let me go this way. And so they would never know. And also when I was first starting to like write sci-fi and dystopian, I would like tell people, like other Muslims, like, oh yeah, all right, this. And every time I would tell them, they'd be like, well, is it about Muslims? And I'm like, no, it's just about like characters in the future. They'd be like, but it should be about Muslims. And I'm like, well, I don't want to write about Muslims. Like, I don't want to write about them. If I wanted, and I would have. So I purposely left that out. And I actually made the elites or the upper residents, I made them don't believe in God, actually.
Right.
I made them believe in science.
They're like, oh, I'm leaving it up to the galaxy. I'm like, I'm here for that. I've been like leaving it up to the universe for a while, so I'm just here for it.
And like, I'm very Muslim. Like, I believe in the creator and all that stuff. Like, I'm very Muslim. But I was like, I don't want that to like bog down the storyline, the plot. We're not, religion is like sprinkled in there, but it's like an afterthought, right? So yeah, they at least believe in science, and actually the white people believe in God. They actually believe in God. So I thought it would be an interesting reversal to like have like futuristic Black people who believe in science only, and no reincarnation, none of that, no purgatory. Just like when you die, and that's it. And so I thought that was an interesting thing to be basically godless, right? And to only believe in themselves, basically. Like, I don't need anything. I believe in myself, and that's how we're going to stay in power. So that's kind of how I made the elites. So was it difficult? No, because like my whole life doesn't revolve around religion. Believe it or not, people hate, like Muslims hate when I say that. They're like, how dare you? It's a way of life. And I'm like, and that's fine for you, but I'm not going to do everything that a Muslim does. I'm just not going to do it. And that's okay for me. It should be okay for you too. You can do what you want to do, but I'm not going to infuse this part of me in everything. Just like we're not going to infuse this part of being a Mormon into everything, or whatever religion you are. You don't have to always infuse that. You can just be you.
Right.
People use like religion as like a personality trait. And I'm like,
That's not.
who are you? Underneath all of that, all the rules and regulations, who the fuck are you? So that's what I want to know from people who are, and like, I'm not anti-religion, in case you guys want to start doing that. I love religions. I love them. And lack of, actually. I love both sides. I like hearing what they got to say. But also, like, are you making it your personality trait? That's the real question.
And that one. So and then sips the wine. So I'm here for it. I'm sure you get this all the time. My sister made me watch Rami. So as you're pitching like the streaming show to like Netflix, Prime Video, you can like, and this is, a potential market comparison or whatever. So anyway, so and I love that response to that question. What was the most difficult thing for you to write when you were drafting, or like, what is something that required a lot of revisions when you're crafting the Union? I just like showing the book.
I think because the beginning went through, I think, 14 edits total. Like, the beginning was chopped and screwed, as T-Pain says, about 11 times. And so that just like, I think the hardest part of writing anything is the beginning. because you don't really know like where you want this to start. Like, what do you like? What's the and then also just like the hook, right? To hook the reader and to like continue to read your book. So the first that first chapter or two were like the hardest to write, and it was to a point where I this is gonna sound very extra, but I actually stopped like bathing, honestly, and I cut all my hair off drafting it, because like I was so the story ruled me. Like, I didn't rule it took a mind of its own, and it became extremely toxic. That's why like I told everybody, like, okay, since I picked up the book 7 years later, I was like, I can't do that again, because me writing the first draft like all those years ago was super toxic. Like, when I tell you, like, my hair was so dirty, I was just like, and stringy, I was like, we're cutting it off so we have more time to deal with the union. It literally ruled every aspect. Like, I would go out with friends and think about the story. I would go to dinner and think about the story. I would be at work writing the story. Always had a pen and pad, always like scribbling down like a Hunchback of Notre Dame. So it became super
yeah.
So this book definitely, it took me, it literally is blood, sweat, and tears. Like, I sacrificed my hair wasn't that flourishing anyway, but the hair that I did have got chopped off, because I was like, I don't have time for this.
Right. That was your sacrifice.
Yeah. And so it should be healthier ways to write a book, but I get so obsessed with the story that I want to spend all my time working on it and honing it. And I think that was like the hardest part of the book, is like beginning it and just writing it and in an unhealthy way. So
but now she's out in the world, so thank you for your craft. Timothy says, I don't let religion decide on my person. I don't let religion decide my personality either. So the chat is a little bit delayed, so that's why I'm going back to previous topics. What was it's hard, like, answer your question, be engaged, and then remember my next question. But it'll come. It was books. What is, when you're writing the book, what is one thing that you're hoping readers would leave? One message, one sentiment, one feeling once they're done with the book?
Well, I mean, like, I think there's always like a major like thread with anything that I do. I basically, and I will always say this until the day I die, but when you see my work, or you read my work, or you see a picture, I basically kind of want to take you by the collar and shake you around a little bit. Like, that's what I want to do with anything that I do. If you don't feel that jerking sensation, like, I don't think you read it the proper way. You should read it again, because I want you to feel like you're on a roller coaster, like you are uncomfortable, like you're disgusted, you are just like, oh my, you're clutching your pearls. Like, I want those type of things to erupt. And then after you get over all of that, I want you to feel empathy. I want you to put yourself into other people's shoes. You don't have to agree with shit. I'm not asking you to agree with anything or trying to change your mind about how you should live your life. But I want you to ask yourself, what is this person experiencing and feeling? That's it. So, and that's what I want to feel when I'm reading something too. I want to know perspective. I might not agree with it. I might not even promote it. But I just was like, that's an interesting perspective. And I think it kind of humanizes other people. And that's how we kind of start to, I think, heal, is through storytelling and humanizing. Now, the fact that Black women have to always bite-sized piece, spoon feed to people so we can be humanized is disgusting. Is it something that many Black artists do and find themselves doing free of charge for the most part? Yes. We have to unfortunately carry the weight of, because like, it's really life and death. And so, with my work, I wanted to start a conversation, an uncomfortable conversation. I want people to really look at how privilege is embedded, not just Black with whites, but even our own community with Black men and Black women. Because I've been oppressed many times by African American men, Literally, I think I've been more oppressed by African American men and Muslims than anybody else. Honestly, keep it 100. Keep it 100. Systematically, of course, like whites have oppressed me. Like that's just, but like for real, in my circle, is my own people. And people don't like to talk about that. They're like, oh, but you're being anti-black or you're being no, I'm being anti-shit. This is my experience and from what I've seen in the community. And we're oppressing each other. But we really got to look at privilege and how it works, even internally. And that's what I want people to see and talk about and feel from any work that I do, and including the union.
Yeah. No, those are powerful messages, particularly in general. One of the benefits of science fiction, since it takes us out sometimes of our own lived experiences, it does give us a beautiful opportunity to increase our sense of empathy. So Angie says, knowing how toxic writing the first book was for you, what boundaries or strategies to remain healthy are you practicing for writing book 2?
That's a really good question. So I am trying to what I'm doing is, instead of like doing it morning, noon, and night, whenever I have a waking moment and just kind of sitting and looking at a blinking cursor, I've broken up into 1 hour writing sessions. So I like to do 3 hours, like 1 hour in the morning, 1 afternoon, 1 night. But with my schedule is coming down to like maybe 2. And so I set the timer for 1 hour. Once it's done, I might go like 10 minutes over. It depends if I'm really into it. And I might go 10 minutes under. But I try to, this is it. Now you have to have lunch. Now you have to go do something. You have to go.
Right.
Now you have to go run some errands. I cannot allow it to consume me. So I've broken it down into 1 hour writing sections. And so that's been helping me not obsess over the book and dream about the characters and, not wash my hair. So hair is washed, skin is moisturized. Like I went to the spa today. Like that would never have been me back in the day. I'm like, spa? No, my book needs writing. So I definitely, and I'm older too, right? I was like 20, late 20s when I wrote the book. So now I'm like, mid 30s. And so I learned a lot that, self-care is definitely something to get the best products, so I can't be hair falling out, hair stinking, trying to write a book. Like that's just healthy. So I definitely have boundaries now. Yes.
Yay. Ray of Sun says, how do you know when to let the story flow, or do you edit as you go?
Oh, well, I'll just keep it to book. No, I would say generally, because I feel like my editing and writing strategy has changed up for book 2 versus this, because I had a limited time when I wrote this book. I mean, time, but my life is definitely different than now. So yeah, so for book 2, I actually did plot out, I think, 2/3 of the book. I've never done that before in my life. This is the first time I plotted out a book, for the most part. With book 1, we just let it flow. Like there was no plot, which is why I had to change the beginning 14 times. So for all the writers out there, please at least have like a rough draft plot of where you want the shit to go, because you are literally wasting time trying to like go over and over and over when you could have just plotted it out. It's irritating, but yeah, I definitely plotted out the books now and started letting it flow, because I save time and I don't have 6 years to write this book, so we got to be really efficient. So yeah, I do let it flow, but I also have like a rough outline of kind of like what happened, and then from the scenes, as I start seeing the characters and how I think that they react, and then it kind of just flows out.
Awesome. Last 2 questions of the Q&A session, then we'll do like a couple questions, this or that. So second last question, what would be on a playlist inspired by the union?
Wow, dang, y'all really asking all the questions. I'm not prepared. So I've been really into like weird, like European techno for the last
I'm here for it.
So probably I Remember by Cascade. It's very like moody but still upbeat. And then probably, oh yes, that one song. It's by Bjork.
Oh, that's fun.
Look, like Army of Me, and there's another song too where she's just like screaming, like, but it leads up to her screaming. It's like very chill, and then it's like her just going
I
in.
remember that song. Okay, okay, okay.
So
You're
that's
Army of One, and that I know the song you're talking about, but I can't remember the name. So I'm
great.
here for it.
Yes, do it. It's very feminine, but also masculine. And like we're chilling, we're coasting, and then boom, she's screaming. So definitely that one. Of course, Foo Fighters, because they also have a similar like, okay, we're chill with some melodies, hardcore rock. And then they go, okay, now we're cool, hardcore. And so I think that like those types of songs would definitely be in the playlist of the Union.
I'm here for it. And last Q&A question before we go into the this or that questions. How did Amazon Publishing become your selected publisher?
Yeah, so we tried to go out. So after, I published my memoir, I was like at this place where I'm like, I can't write anything because I'm just like dealing with influencing and modeling. I was being flown out and stuff. And well, no, I'm sorry. After that, COVID actually hit.
Right. Okay.
So COVID hit like second half of my book tour because my book came out December, October, something like that. And my book didn't stand a chance because everybody was like, we don't care about books. We're dealing with death of COVID. So like that was done for my memoir. It was kind of like a done deal after that, because that's a sweet spot. Like when you tour, everybody canceled everything. It was done. So like I was like, oh, okay. So after that, I was like, I don't want to write. I don't want to publish. I don't want to do anything because we're all gonna basically die. Like I thought that at the beginning of COVID, like we're just always gonna die, and there's no point in writing anything. So I didn't write for a long time. I was like, okay, well maybe we should take the time in COVID to like look at some old work. And I'm like, I don't have time for that. In 2021, end of 2020 and in 2021, I got an influx of brand deals. So there was no time to write, no time to think. I was literally getting flown out left and right, LA, all these places to model. And I was like, I'm not an author anymore. I'm a model. So then it slowed down a little bit. And I was like, okay, my agent's like, well, what do you want to do next? Another memoir? Like, and I'm like, I could, but also have this book that kind of been sitting in my drawer for like 7-8 years. Let's like resurrect it. At first, she wasn't like, and she probably in here, but I feel like I wasn't getting a lot of like feedback from her about it. And I was just like, hey, can we like look at this book? Hey, can we look at this book? And I kept like bothering her. And finally she's like, send it to me. And so, yeah, she's like, okay, well, here's some notes on it. Went through, we cleaned it up. We went out, to a publishers a couple months later. The first round, nobody wanted it. And I'm like, let's try again. And she was like, I'm gonna try one more time. I was like, try one more time now. Don't play with me. So she was like, she got some other list of publishers up. And then Amazon was like, they were like, hey, Amazon wants to talk to you. I was literally about to go out of town. And she's like, they need to talk to you like now. And I'm like, I'll be home in 20 minutes. Got on the phone and she's like, we're excited, we love it, and I'm obsessed with the characters. And I'm like, you're obsessed with the characters? No one cares about them. And at that point, because she was like, this is it. And I was like, oh, like she really like likes it. And then I was in Dominican Republic, got the call that they wanted to offer a 2-book deal, and I started crying.
Aww.
That was always my dream, to get a 2-book deal for a dystopian novel, and it was coming true. And so, that's how it happened. Like, I remember the day I'm at the bar in the Dominican Republic at this hotel having lunch, and I got the call, and I'm just like crying on FaceTime. I'm like, this is going to be so much work, but I'm so blessed.
Yay! So I love that story. Thank you so much for sharing. So if you are an aspiring writer, it sounds like rule number 1, get an agent. Rule number 2, keep trying even if you get rejected. So thank you so much for that story. We are at the top of the hour. We have been discussing the Union. We have signed copies at Sistah Scifi. You're fabulous. I know you hear that all day, every day, but I just want to add to the chorus. Yeah. So thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us, to wind down with us on this Wednesday. I appreciate it so much. Hopefully you'll be back when book 2 is out there. And you're fabulous.
Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for coming and listening to us.
Okay. Talk soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.